ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनःभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति शपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सगुणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं स्वाद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमयं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चादशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यास ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकीः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 1, text 34, 35, 36. As there is no purport of 34 and 35, so we'll be discussing on text number 36. The matter of the first step in God realization. Ishasya keshan vidur ambubahan Vaso tu sandhyam kuruvaryak bhumnaha abhyaktamahor hridayam manasascha sa chandramaha sarvavikara koshaha. Nishasya of the supreme controller, Keshan, hairs on the head, Viduhu, you may know it from me. Ambu Bahan, the clouds which carry water. The clouds which carry water. Vasaha tu, the dress. Sandhyam, termination of day and night. Kuru Bharya, O best of the Kurus. Bhumnaha, of the Almighty. Abhyaktam, the prime cause of material creation. Ahuhu, it is said. Hridayam, intelligence. Manaha, cha, and the mind. So, he. Chandramaha, the moon. Sarva Vikara Koshaha, the reservoir of all changes. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O based amongst the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The terminations of days and nights are his dress. And the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. And his mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. 35, text number 35. Vijnana Saktim Mahim Amananti Sarvatmano Antaha Karanam Giritram Ashwataya Ustra Gaja Nakhani Sarve Mrigaha Vasavaha Shroni Deshe. Vijnana Shaktim, consciousness. Mahim, the principle of matter. Amananti, they call it so. Sarva Atmanaha, of the omnipresent. Antakaranam, ego. Giritram, Rudra, Shiva. Ashwa, horse. Ashwatari, mule. Aswatari mul, sorry. Ustra, camel. Gajaha, elephant. Nakhani, nails. Sarva, sarve, all other. Mrigaha, stages. Pasavaha, quadrupeds. Shrani, deshe, on the reason of belt. Translation. The principles of matter, Mahatvata, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord. as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. Text 36. Vayam sita vyakaranam vichitram manur manisha manujo nivasha gandharva vidyadhara charana parasha charana pasaraha swara smriti asuranika viryaha Vayam sita vyakaranam vichitram manur manisha manujo nivasha gandharva vidyadhara charana sharaha swara smriti asurani kaviryaha. Vayamsi, varieties of words. Tat vyakaranam, vocables. Vichitram, artistic. Manu, the father of mankind. Manisha, thoughts. Manujaha, mankind, the sons of Manu. Nivashaha, residents. Gandharva, the human beings named Gandharvas. Vidyadhara, the Vidyadharas. Charana, the Charanas. Apsaraha, the angels. Swaraha, musical rhythms. Smritihi, remembrance. Asura Anika, the demoniac soldiers. Viryaha, prowess. Translation part by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Varieties of bards are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings like Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and angels, all present his musical rhythm, and the demoniac soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. Purport. The aesthetic sense of the Lord is manifested in the artistic, colorful creation of varieties of birds like the peacock, parrot, and cuckoos. The celestial species of human beings, celestial species are a species of human being, like the Gandharvas and Vidyadharas, can sing wonderfully and can entice even the minds of heavenly demigods. Their musical rhythm presents the musical sense of the Lord. How then can he be impersonal? His musical taste, artistic sense, and standard intelligence, which is never failable, are different signs of his supreme personality. The Manu Samhita is the standard law book for humanity, and every human being is advised to follow this great book of social knowledge. Human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. This means that the human being is meant for God realization and association with God. This life is a chance for the conditioned soul to regain his eternal God consciousness and thus fulfill the mission of life. Maharaj Prahlad is the right type of representative of the Lord in the family of Asuras. None of the living beings is away from the Lord's gigantic body. Each and every one has a particular duty in relation to the supreme body. This disruption in the matter of discharging the specific duties assigned to each and every living being is the cause of disharmony between one living being and another. But when the relation is reestablished in relation with the Supreme Lord, there is complete unity between all living beings, even up to the limit of the wild animals and human society. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed this living unity in the jungle of Madhya Pradesh, where even the tigers, elephants, many other ferocious animals perfectly cooperated in glorifying the Supreme Lord. That is the way to peace and amity all over the world. That's the Bhaktivedanta purport. Mukham karati vachalam pangulang hayate girim yada kripatamaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarim Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Vishwaram. It is very nicely explained about the gigantic universal form of the Lord, talking each and every part of the body is what. So especially we got the responsibility to being a human being, to realize the Supreme Lord and be God, Krishna conscious, and serve the Lord. That is a service for all the human beings. It's been provided, and if we don't do so, then it is like we are misusing this precious human life. Why? Only 4 activities. What is that 4 activities? Eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. That's it. Ahar, nidra, bhai, maithunancha, saman etat pasuvi naranam, dharma hi tesha madhika vishesha, dharma nahi na pasuvi samana. So this human form of life is after many births in this material world, in different species, we have come to the level of this human being. Manav Jivan. Manav and Danav. There are 2 different human beings. One is Manav and one Danav. Who is Manav? Manav means one who is in this process of realizing the self and the Supreme Personality of Godhead and do the duty which is given in the scriptures. And just opposite to that is Danav. They know only, they don't do all this spiritual activity. They don't have any understanding of God and understanding themselves. So that is why they are Danav. So what is happening when we come to know this, we are a human being, because we are human being. We have to realize that. Without realizing, without understanding, understanding the position of our life, so it is like a Danav life. Human being is not the life which is not possible to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or relation between the Lord and himself, or be in the path of self-realization and proceed to the spiritual world. It's very easy, very nicely, systematically this body has made by Lord Brahma's blessings. We have all got this human form of life after many lifetime, many species traveling in different species of life. We come to this human form of life. So in this human form of life, Manusya Janamo Paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya. If we don't worship the Radha Krishna by having this human form of life, it is like a Janiya Sunya Vishakhaino, knowingly drinking poison in this material world. Drinking poison means what? That the poison is like a material life. Drinking poison, the poison is they die. But how they die? Spiritually die in this connection. When one takes spiritual path, so they never think of living of the spiritual practices and go back to the material activities and engage in material activities. So what is happening when we are practicing this bhakti yoga? We have to be very careful so that we should not lose this opportunity to be in this path of spiritual realization. Keep on practicing this bhakti yoga. One day or other day, we will realize that we are not this body. We are the spirit soul, and spirit soul is the eternal, which is not going to die and going to vanquish from this material world. That's what Bhagavad Gita we have realized. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakana, chainam kladantapa, na shashaiti marata. This soul is very, very eternal. And this eternal soul, the duty of the eternal soul is Jivera Sarupa Nitya Krishnadas. We have eternal servant of the Lord. So we have to engage ourselves constantly in the devotional service to the Lord. So then gradually our standard of spiritual life develops. When we progress more and more in spiritual life, then we'll realize that yes, I am really not this body, something different from this body. Then we try to understand and awake that spirit, awaken the spirit in the heart by constant remembering the name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The spirit soul is living everyone's heart, but there are two ways, like Shupta Avastha and Jagrata Avastha. Shupta Avastha means in lying, sleeping stage, not bothering whatever we are, we are planning and doing all that. But other Jagrata Avastha means one is awakened stage. The spirit, super soul is in awakened stage. So when you are in Krishna consciousness, serving the Lord, and within the heart, He'll give some information. Okay, He'll give some guidance. Okay, do this and don't do this. Automatically, it will reveal in heart. So he becomes very cautious and very careful in day-to-day life in spiritual practices. When one practices in spiritual activities like devotional service, he become very, very careful. He's very alert. So then he realizes that this is not the only life, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. There is another part of life. What is that? To be engaged in devotional service, dovetail in Krishna consciousness, eating, mating, defending, and sleeping. So we are eating. What we are eating? We are eating only Krishna prasadam. We don't eat which is not offered to the Lord, the food grain. So what is happening when you have prasadam, regular prasadam, charanamrita and all that? We are very much into the path of self-realization. And when you stop eating Mahaprasadam and eating all kinds of bogas, gradually we will be far away from that path to realize the self and the Lord. So it is very important to follow the Vedic injunctions. Mating. Mating means cats and dogs, they also have the progeny, like creating them, the creation. They do they create the children, produce the children. And even the human being also, there are so many of them, many of us, we do this, we create the children, we give birth to the children. And what happened, that giving birth is not important. Important to giving birth a child who is in Krishna consciousness children. So that is what we need to practice Bhakti Yoga to understand this philosophy that I have my wife, I have my children, I have to bring them in Krishna consciousness. Give them their life. That is what Bhagavatam says, that Jananana Sasya Daivam Tatsanna Patischa Sasya no Mucha Ya Samapeta Mrityum. So the he is not a one. He is not one who is not qualified to deliver his dependents. He is not qualified as a husband, not qualified as a demigod, even not qualified as guru. Sometimes the guru also does not have that qualification to deliver the dependents, including all the disciples. So he is not. So we have to become that have to have that responsibility. One has to have the responsibility to deliver the dependents. Pitana Sasya, Jananina Sasya, Daivam na Tatsana Patischa Sasya, Namochadhiya Samupeta Mritum. One who is not qualified to bring them out from this circle of birth, old age, disease, and death, and deliver them from this material world. He is not qualified to be a father, qualified to be a mother, qualified to be a demigod, and not qualified like it's demigod. So it is, we have to, we are in this path to realize the self. First of all, I have to deliver myself. How to deliver myself? By taking complete shelter at the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. What is that meaning of complete shelter? There are 6 basic guidelines to surrender. Saranagati, complete Saranagati we have to have. So by surrendering ourselves, when you follow the instruction of Guru and Krishna and Shastra, Sadhu Shastra, Guru Bhakta, Chittita Koriya Yokto, Arna Koriyo Mone Asha. So we should not have any other plan, desire, and motive other than following the instruction of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, spiritual master. Then we take shelter at the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual master through initiation. Then we get our journey begins. When our journey begins, we have to be very, very carefully sit in the own chair, own bench, own center, own position, and lead ahead our life very carefully. Should never jump out from this path. Then we can, one day or other day will reach. There is a guarantee, assurance given in the scriptures and on the acharyas. So ultimately our goal of life is to come back to Godhead by simply taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Guru and Krishna. By associating with devotee, this is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible. Without the association of the devotee, is very, very impossible. Unless one takes shelter at the, unless one associate with the devotees of the Lord, one will not get the opportunity to take shelter at the lotus feet of Guru. And when one does not take shelter at the lotus feet of Guru, it is impossible, next to impossible, to be sheltered at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ashraya loya bhaje, tare Krishna nahi taje, arsha mare akaron. One who takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Guru and serve Lord Krishna or Govinda. Lord Krishna he will never leave him alone. But one who does not take shelter at the lotus feet of the Guru and engage himself in devotional service to the Lord constantly, he will never be taken care of. Mare akaron, will be suffering in this material world unnecessary, life after life. What is that suffering? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare sayanam, yah samsare bahudustare. Again and again taking birth in this world and suffer and suffer and suffer. That's it. No way to come out from the circle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So only one process is given here. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudhamati, Sampraptate Samnihite, Kale Nahi Rakshati Dukkriyaptarane. So we have this knowledge, but we have to utilize it. We should be constantly chanting the name of the Lord, worship the Lord. Govinda, and make our life successful, make journey successful, and return home back to Godhead in this lifetime. So we can stop here. If anybody is having any questions, we can discuss on this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the very nice class, Prabhu. It was very inspiring, always to hear from you. I have one small doubt, Prabhu, small question, that you talked about keeping the association of devotees, and then only we can take shelter of the Guru. So I want to understand more what is the actual meaning of associating with devotees. Generally, we meet devotees, we talk like idhar udhar ki baat karte, like we talk something else, some household things. So what actually is the meaning of associating devotees?
Yeah, very good questions. Actually, what when devotees are having their each and everyone is a different type. Like someone is very friendly, someone is very grave, someone is very angry type of person. Very difficult to go along with. So we have to understand. We have to realize first before associating with someone what type of person he is. So if he's very, very meek and humble and very deep understanding of Krishna consciousness, so we have to deep ourselves and try to mingle, try to hear from him, try to understand him, try to associate with him. So in this way, when you speak about Krishna, when you speak about Bhagavad Katha, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or any scriptures, so you'll understand this devotee is very, very advanced. I have to be very careful and listen to him very carefully and all that. So if you do not try to understand anything, simply go and associate. That is also okay, but simply that is only Nama Bhasha, like it. Simply chant Hare Krishna and we hear from him Bhagavad Katha, it's okay. But when you go deep into the devotee, oh, this devotee is so devoted and so great, he knows this very well, this matter. So I have to learn from him something. So to learn something, that mood is more precious than any other mood to associate with the devotees. Association means only simply not sitting with the person, eating nicely, talking and gossiping. No, that is not the association. Association means hear from him, learn something from him, spiritual matter, which is going to help us to progress in a spiritual path. So that is called real association, sadhu sangha. That sadhu sangha, sarva shastrika. This sadhu sangha is explained in every scriptures, that without the sadhu sangha, it is like next to impossible, like very difficult to attain this, attain the goal, to understand this ourself, realize self and realize the supreme personality of God. It's very difficult. So when you associate gradually one day or other day, we will learn from the devotee who gives us the explains us about the matter of the spiritual realization. So when you keep on associating, then all the doubts, all this difficulties goes away. And especially when you get associate with the devotees, get encouragement, utsaha, get encouragement. Oh, very nice. She's doing so nice service. What am I doing? So I should do something better than him or her. So what is happening then? That they get inspiration. And by hearing from someone, get more inspired. They become more inspired and do more and more service. Very nicely. So that inspiration, if it does not come from association, spiritual inspiration, that is not considered as association. Follow what I'm saying? Association means one has to inspire in the path of self-realization or practicing in Bhakti Yoga. If utsahat nishchay, then when the utsaha comes more and more, then we become convinced, okay, this is my right position. And then there is no loss of anything by practicing this bhakti yoga, certainty, there is a 100% guarantee that I will achieve my goal. So that conviction will come later. We have to develop gradually, like utsaha, then nishcha, dharya. Then later on, there will be so many difficulties by associating the devotees. Many difficulties may come, many challenges may come, many offenses we may commit. But we have to be very understanding that, okay, now I have done some mistake. If I cannot do personally, ask forgiveness, at least mentally, in heart, I should ask for, oh my Prabhu, I'm very sorry, I did such a great blunder and mistake and offenses. Please forgive me. So what is when Lord is within our heart, He knows what is happening, what we are doing, what we are not doing, what is in our heart. So He'll give us so much of strength. The next, immediately there will be alert. There is a phone alert is there. Anybody calls later on, you get alert or some message comes, alert comes like that. Automatically that alert will be there in our heart. Oh, this is the way I have to associate with the devotee so that I should not commit any offense. He should not be offended with me or like this. So this is very important questions that how to associate with the devotees of the Lord. Association is very important, most important part in spiritual life, but how to associate, that is very that is to be understood. Do you have any other doubt on this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice. Thank you for the enlightening us today. The Bhagavatam is always great, and so no matter what, we have to hear. I had one comment on this association. I recently came across one, of course, we know this verse, but this might be very suitable for the question what Madhaj was asking. It's we know this verse, which is many times would have heard. Satang prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti vritkarna rasayana kata tajosanadas apavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishyati. So this is in association of your pure devotees. Discussion of pastimes and activities of Supreme Personality of God is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotions and devotion service begin. In this purport, Prabhupada explains what is the importance of devotion association. So I was very impressed when I read that. Of course, would have heard many times, but go back and hear and again. So anything material, even though when you're in association, we may talk something, but what we need to do in the association is to always remind each other that, Krishna Katha, Parasparanu Katanam, always think about Krishna and remind each other about Krishna and talk about Krishna. But sometimes what happens, we come together, we talk something politics, we talk, oh, we are all devotees, it's okay, we can't, anything we can talk. Yes, we can talk, but that's not association. So basically, one reminds us about Krishna is the association. That's why we have to be, in fact, this verse also said, pure devotees. Of course, we are not pure devotees. Not every day we'll get pure devotee association. But at least as an association, as a peers, we have to think about and inspire each other and remind each other about Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Good.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
We can stop here.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Will end, Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कटि वैष्णववृंद की शील